I'm on. What law enforcement has did to me in this state is unexcusable. These people have literally driven me crazy. I have a speech impediment because of what they've done to me. They help facilitate to get away my living situation. I'm disabled with cancer. These people have taken away all my money. I have every card. I have to sleep with my belongings by me. I have lived in a place put outside. I have tried for my life. They've made my eyes cross to get a job just so I can eat. I'm only eating off of $17 a month. Been put into extortionist rings. This has not stopped. I've come to ask for help. They blocked my videos. They have put every time they have put getting treatment to everyone else. I have to sleep in shelters, of which people have extended stays to stay until they can get to their and I a spiritual place, and I'm not given the same ability. It's systemic. It goes further up than just normal people. This has to do with professional enclaves that have snapped pictures of everything that I do and literally used it as fraud. Their investigations, and the media companies here, Channel 11 knows exactly what I'm talking about. People that are aspecting with Michael, Marshall, and Mitchell, and Cheryl, these people. Michael, a Capricorn, Mitchell, birthday, May. That's all I can think of. And, Sherry, birthday, May. I've had to take a much medication in order to get functional life. Right now, there's still zero suppression. I can't make any type of video on the shorts because they're being CBC code injected and suppressed. They're enacting prostitution rings all inside of here. And I'm going to tell everything until I get some type of privy. I literally am suicidal because of what's happening to me. If it doesn't stop, I'm going to commit suicide. These persons, they are relentless. This terror ring will not stop. Persons such as Michael Katie of media companies that are doing these things to me. Out of retaliation, I can't get any job. I'm being blacklisted. I have several shorts. If you see that I'm literally driven crazy, I'm pleading for a job. I'm taking tests online for jobs that are $8 an hour, $14 an hour. Everything is telling me no, and I'm well qualified in the state, licensed. They're taking my license, everything. They are in my mailbox. They're inside of my apartment right now, which is 1770 Westheimer Road in this city and state, Houston, Texas, apartment 1718. They have my security alarms are in there. They don't care. They use the state and enforcement purposes before my birthday. They broke into my apartment. They used a drill. They didn't have any key, which would be necessary to get in if you were doing something lawful. The entire apartment was a switch and bait unit. They gave me some sort of weird studio apartment when I was approved for a 1-bedroom lease. I could barely fit inside of there. I was starved since March. I had cancer. I was in the hospital in 2023. I had to ask the doctors, how long do I have to live? I mean, when you have to ask that, you're not playing with people's lives. All I've been doing is trying to literally recover and get through life. And I've been driven crazy on jobs. The network of stalkers have integrated within corporate structures using anonymity and corporate shields and companies to shield themselves with aspectual immunities that they think they are garnered while committing crime. I have very limited time to be anywhere that I am, and everyone, again, they're given much time to facilitate themselves. People tell me they can't help me, they don't know what to do. I'm being retaliated against for doing protective actions, like stating that I don't want my house to be burglarized. I don't want people living and prostituting in my house while I'm at work. I am not willing to have my food eaten by people and taking care of their children. I've had $20,000 at one specific aspect taken from me, and altogether, all about $70,000. These people have taken pictures of everything. They want my disability. They want everything that has to do with anything that is an exploitative measure towards myself. And I've done nothing but since 2023 to anybody. I couldn't walk. I couldn't see. I was legally blind. My glasses have been taken just so that it can be a sport, so that I'm confined and aspected of this false imprisonment. Like I could not even maneuver around freely. I would have to guess when crossing the streets when cars are coming. Cars are ran directly in front of transportation. I'm being literally discriminated against with a disability. I can't get reasonable accommodations to get to jobs. I've had literal court sessions that are placed outside of the jurisdiction. Courts had no jurisdiction. I've literally been impersonated people, and there's a guy that looks just like me. His name is Dave, inside of Houston, Texas, and Andre. This is another Andre Relford. These people show up exactly in the same places that I get medication. They impersonated getting the medication. I've had medication theft towards myself where I got so sick because of things that don't regulate for cancer being taken away. I'm being literally retaliated against. And Aisha, birthday set late December, January. Tila, Stephanie Williams. All of these people know what's going on and have been on the phone as an aspect and have been behaving weirdly. A lot of these things continue to go on with the family members of Masakila Malone and all of these aspects. These people he's a gang member. There's a Gabriel Smith in the city that does anything with, in Third Ward with boxing. They are incorporated with Bertha Smith. Another person named by Cairo, Cairo, probably on age of May birthday. They're insulated. These people are literally in a D. They're going around driving people crazy. There's a cousin that I have named Arteria by marriage. It's a cousin by marriage, Arteria, and then Joshua. Charles Edwards, and Jennifer is the wife. That's my uncle. I incorporated to have a lot of aspects that work with the corrections officers, and they are trying to aspect this type for me to go work there, but I'm disabled. In order to be, if I'm going to be retaliated against, there's a Marlon Douglas that's aspected. There's an Arlen. He's a part of the Kappa Alpha Psi and systems, and there's a Damien who's aspected. He has a brother named Jason or something, or affiliated with a Jason. They're going around right now prostituting inside these buildings. There's also a Jason and Gerard aspects, like a August, September birthday. They have links in Baltimore. There are people from a site called BGC that are literally terrorizing the entire nation. Persons that know what Braylon Matlock would know what's going on with a Ricky. This is a screen named RQ 1993. They come from the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina. These people are going around terrorizing persons. I've had pictures put on that site. I've had pictures put everywhere throughout the years and being used to impersonate and enact aspects that have had me trafficked. I barely gotten sleep. I was up at 2 a.m. trying to make sure I draft things for court proceedings, because I will be insisting upon court proceedings upon what's going on with myself still, even though it may be bribery going on or any type of aspect that can get me justice. No one deserves what I'm going through, and that's why I speak and talk about what's going on, because in case someone else says anything. And hi, everyone that said hi to me. Hi. Thank you so much. I will always tell what's going on until I get amnesty out of this country. Nobody deserves to be on the streets, and all I've done was pay my bills. Have to live normally, because I've had to ask doctors, how long do I have to live? Twice. Even the second time my medication was taken, I was literally had discriminate retaliation against me in pharmacies and people telling me that I cannot get my medicine, and I've done nothing because people, I don't, they interacted with these liaisons with some of these the enterprise that I'm dealing with, and they professional people, doctors. I'm not sure if got felony offenses for some reason, but when you enact yourself with criminals and you don't relegate whom you have sexual relationships with, intimate relationships with, you open up the door for total reprieve of what you're going through, or you have to take on what these other people are doing in their lives. You have to investigate and question these things. That's why I don't really deal with too many other people. It's not that I wouldn't want to. I can't. People are bribed to literally ask if I've been robbed. I've been kidnapped. I've been taken of all of my identification. My identification is still floating around, and people have used it since 2018 and before then to get and secure apartments. They have had my tax viable information to get cars, to get motors in their cars, right? Danny's a June, July birthday. People that I thought that I could just casually talk to, everyone's been insulated into a prostitution network. It's an aggravated form of the promotion of prostitution. And it's not all of enforcement. I don't want to make that clear. I don't want to be retaliated against more. Lord knows I'm exhausted. Some people have been great. They've helped in 2023 when I was robbed with aggravated robbery with deadly weapon, and have taken that night $8,000 was taken, and this course of action happened to another female that night. This is why the person was caught, and I had to go into a lineup to pick them out. I didn't press charges at the time, and Lord knows I should have. Then there's an aspect that I was working with security at Travis Street, 2100 Travis Street. And you have to forgive me, I stutter now. Psychogenic stuttering, it's a trigger. I've been depleted. I can't eat. I have to eat living food. I was buying living food as is on my bank ledger with organic food. Literally before December, when everything was taken away, my ability to work. All of the videos that I watched in regards to nutrition is a baseline of what the stalking enterprise is looking at to deplete myself of vitamin B complex aspects, in particular vitamin B12, B9, and B1. And it's a depletion of slow communications that goes on within the thinking process. I've been affected and given I'm having to use black plastic, which is recycled electronics. This is known by the stalkers as what are aspects that can continually wear down my health in the environment. Everything is running down my health. There's no soap to wash your hands with, while norovirus is literally proliferating the entire city. They're hiring gang networks to work inside of the facilities instead of viable people. I don't know if this is some sort of tactic to literally give their personal identifying information if they literally sign up for an assistance thinking that they could get themselves together or work in an assistance. But the state, this Houston aspect is literally a den of human trafficking, and it's not stopping, it's not slowed down. I don't know what I want to do. These people want me outside on the concrete. I've walked on top of people on the concrete. This is no lie. Houston it's full of zombies. There's no government. There are thugs working inside of every facility. And let me get this for all of you people that are thugs and you know about your it's not all of you. Some of you just like, look, the president took us off of Section 8. They took your food stamps away, and you have to do something. I'm not mad at anybody that's not I see people that mopping Metro doing all this. I do not have a problem with you. Some of these people, they feel sorry for me, but I know that they can't do anything. The police can't do anything. I've caught the FBI. The last time they listened to me was 2018. After that, they've been taken over. There's a Torrance White. I don't know if you're related to my family. My family's last name is White. Kenneth White, Jerisa, these people, Kenneth White is birthday May, June. And the other persons, such as a Raymond, that's working at the Bush Intercontinental. along with some with my probably my mother, Deborah. These people are Shaniqua Baker, a Natalia at Sterling Point Apartments. Please don't use anything with our money. These people that have aspects of the Edison on Westheimer where I stayed, where they literally had to run out of my habitation because people entering into the attic, entering into my apartment. They took all my clothes, all my silverware. They took food from me, lots of food. I have awakened with the bottom lock unlocked while I'm asleep in an apartment that's barely 400 square feet that has a $1,000 light bill. They've ruined my tenure with Reliant Energy, and I've paid my bill for 3 years using these people. They run everything up so that I can use. I've had to run up my credit cards. They've garnered things inside of my name. I have FTC reports, FCC reports. I don't have phone service with T-Mobile anymore. With Xfinity, people have made sure that I can't pay for my life. And before this aspect in 2023, 2024, I was functioning. I was an adult. I was living my life. I began to walk. I was literally making sure that I was able to do something that at times was at work at different points, even intermittently, to take care of my life and supplement my income in my life, which is lawful for me to do. Persons such as Jadnicia Kinsey and Ishmael Price, they took so much money from me. Harold Smith and Carrie, these are people I stayed with, past roommates, they have on file with Reliabank with the unemployment that people were getting at the time I was. In 2020, because the president then was Trump, called a global crisis because of COVID. The company I work with, I appreciate you guys very much. They looked out for me. I probably would have still been there. It was a restaurant, a great restaurant down here. It's very famous citywide. I'm not going to call them out in any aspect of this. They know who they are. I've gone through hell. I was going through things while getting that job, and I was so grateful to have gotten a job, that somebody gave me a job. And you have to understand, this is what I'm being blacklisted. I'm offered labor, like hard labor, at my age, and that's not my background. That's not what I do for the least amount of money. This is called forced labor and coercion. It's under coercion. Any investigator that has the same decency that the investigators in 2020 had, and they move in swiftly. And I understand things take time, but I don't have time to take in my life. It's another year that I've been going through. If you see the shorts that I've aspected on these platforms, horrible torture every video per year. I have many other videos you would see of my torture. This is evidentiary, non-testimonial, excited utterances that are permitted per my freedom of speech. Things are being extorted by myself, by perpetrators viewing my content as a cry for help. It's literally duress towards employers, and I have the freedom of speech so that I can redress the government aspects or municipal instances in this matter. I have not gotten help from many lawyers that I went to. People have just taken my information as blackmail and exploitation of myself. This is an exploitative measure of a vulnerable adult. This is injury to a disabled person. I want to get out of the state, but I have to get treatment of medical instances in the state. This person is trying to separate me from the state because they've stolen so much money, and you would want to silence myself, and I just won't be silenced. I will be going to court for these measures again, even if the court is against me. I have many aspects to have the paperwork can go towards the United Nations aspect, some group that aspects Convention Against Torture, which is an international privy to get out of here. Again, my eyes are crossed because you see with your brain, your eyes are a lens. I don't have nutrition half the time. And I'm being retaliated against because I spoke up against, I keep speaking up against things and not silence. I see everyone around me, they get cards, they flash cash in my face. They flash cash, it's noted all over these platforms about these practices that are being done. Again, my brother's in the gang, Gabriel's in the gang, they have children. These children are probably living in places that are paid for by fraud. They have cars that they don't even have the substantive job instances to get them. They put their girlfriends and everything into these job placements to pay them, and they literally commit fraud because once you're inside of a job, administratively, you can have access to files and people's medical paperwork, their personal identifying information that is used and sold and extracted into these mediums of getting loans, getting high dollar loans to get. These people are living, they've gotten houses, there are apartments in my name on my credit report that I've never lived in. I've only lived in 2 apartments in my life. There are multiple apartments in my name that people that I know, Stephanie, that have lived in, her boyfriend, Miguel Denson, you've been around. These people know about what's going on inside of my life and with my property and all of these things. Keyshawn and Keisha works for Metro. Sometimes Metro's, it's not the entity, it's the people there. Sometimes there are a lot of great people that have helped me. Many times I've been left. Buses have left me. They won't pick me up because these people know about entities. Stephanie has worked for Williams, has worked for Metro, and her mother, Cassandra. All of these things that have happened, these interconnected parts that know about what's going on. People have talked, everybody that has gone along with these horrible practices of getting their bills ran up. Danny, you've had to run out of your townhouse. You've had to put things in storage. Tori, that's birthday is October, November type. He's had to be run around from different jobs, and I would try to wonder why are you going from job to job, and it's a nice job placement from total harassment, and he's a good worker across different places out of the city just to go be run out of his own house to be run into a smaller apartment and being aspected through coercion by criminal trespass and burglary for invasive visual recording of yourself in undress, and places I'm being run out because after the enterprises get to each location, I've been through 3 different shelters and I've not gotten help, and I was promised that I would get help. You're not allocated any insistence of an in-house staffing people that are helping people that already have different situations that are running for their lives to get and be vetted into jobs, and placing us in the same aspectual pool of people within the city that have legitimate housing, that have normal aspects of lives, and everyone goes through something, but they are not in this situation. But we are in the general pool, like literally competing for jobs, and they're being taken over by people that are and if you are enforcement, you do not need another job. I get everybody's running out of money, but you're going to take over other civilian jobs such as security or anything else and not letting people work, and you're being prompted to do so. And you can eat. I have $17 a month that I can eat from. Since what is the term, I've been eating cans of beans since November, on Thanksgiving, on Christmas, when you people were eating whole meals and waking up. I had to go, and I have it on camera, I had to go across the street to ask people at stores, can I get milk so I can put in some cereals that I got from the food bank. Again, I'm a cancer survivor. I was eating before October of last year. My bill is $300 a month. That's on my bank ledger. It still lasts for at least 5 years. FDIC at the bank so that they can tell what has gone on investigations of living food, organic milk, organic things. And I'm not perfect, but I've tried to do things that help to, as you have to have food as medicine, to aspect your own life and nutrition, aspects so that you can have connection in your brain and mitochondrial processes for quick synapse logic. that's been taken away from me through web browser history, looking at every YouTube video that I would, try to study all of these great tutors that help to determine what your aspect is so that you can have more than just living. You can actually have, functional living. They've taken that ability away, the enterprise, the stalkers, through these retaliatory instances, making myself have to use in any black plastic, eat and use plates with and cups with PFAs in them, forever chemicals, cooking the food in that way. I have had literal formication and shock all over my body. If you see, I have literal, it seems like small heat bumps everywhere. This is systemic dermatitis, which I have on my medical reports, that is aspecting misfiring of the hormones. The thyroid is being heavily inundated. Half the time I don't get sleep because melatonin is not relegated in an appropriate way because of misfiring. The telling that I'm going to stay up. I've been sleep deprived. I've gone to emergency rooms for sleep deprivation. These are tactics that are used as coercive tools by stalking networks to place a reasonable person in fear of their life, their property, aspecting their very insistence with terroristic threats, changing the behavior and flow and policies of a building, such as a professional, or integrating in corporate structures as terroristic threats, instilling bribery, commercial bribery, and otherwise towards persons in positions of administrations and authorities, and to literally change the course of the building, putting down the policies of the United States with force and in municipal structures, integrating which would be regionally and then transnationally into aspected organized criminal activity and racketeering, having persons that are on that site, BGC, come from over state lines with the intention to literally stalk and invade my life through life invasion, sabotage, and attacking all forms of, and integrating with people I know, everybody in my contact list, by internet or by an invasion of my cell phone through aspecting computer fraud and abuse act statutes, by way of man-in-the-middle attacks that use invasive malware that through suspicious types of clicks on probably an email, through phishing or other mechanisms that has aspected, this spyware inside of your phone, integrating and bribing everybody, and these are the vagrant levels. Creating isolation. I can't trust anybody. These are tactics used by human traffickers so that they gain absolute control, indentured servitude, but including yourself in a corporate structure so that it seems like that I'm not being forced or pushed to go into every function that's given at this aspect. They have to do labor. They're wearing steel-toe boots. They have to go out into the hot field. I'm a cancer survivor. I have vision issues. And I aspected a reasonable accommodation in past times with past companies to help myself functionally live. You can't live off the amount of money that's given to us these days, and I only have $17 to eat a month. I have to run back and forth and back and forth. Anytime I do something that I have to wait many, many hours. I waited in long lines to get that job in February where we were aspected with Harris Health. But I did security where there were people there that were very much in themselves. And when you go to work, you're not paid to be yourself. You're paid to be what you are, and act according to the script that's given. People were themselves. You can be yourself at home. That's not professional, but they were hired. I left my apartment and went to the warning center during this freeze that was in Texas, that was allocated by the governor as another disasters in Texas. I see Governor Abbott in other places, and there was a state of emergency here, or the emergency management operation aspects had to go here. The shelter, the warming center that I went to, everyone else that went to warming centers, they slept on cots and everything else. We were sleeping on the cold floor. The mayor walked into this place. We were giving such high glycemic food, everything that would spike your blood sugar with no fat to slow it down, with no insistences to break this. And it aspected that when he came in, he saw everyone on the floor. I have this as video evidence on here. It did not change. These people did not get us off the floor. I called Houston Fire Department. These were for the fire marshal to enact. These were fire codes. You would step over people. People were all in the door space, all over the floor. No cots were given. We were on the cold floor, no carpet. Well, it was extremely cold outside. I was shuddering, literally got no sleep. But sleep deprived. And this is in a professional facility, nurses, people, everybody available. There was every type of person in there, people with tuberculosis, people with monococcal pneumonia, just little rattling in their lungs and coughing up, and people that they had no showers. People were coming in there smelling like urine because they were, God bless them, they've just been outside, they've been exhausted and inundated by these same practices that have had generations of persons in neighborhoods literally aspected. I have this out so that it can go. I've aspected and I have to do so. Everyone on camera when I watch you, I don't take away from your experiences. Everyone needs help. A lot of people need help in this city in regards to slum landlords that I see with Dr. Williams and what's going on in this city as bringing light to these atrocities. I've been very much resilient. I've had to represent myself in different in court because of civil injustices to try to get an injunction to maintain my life's order. I don't want to be a reporter. Everyone's a made reporter in the United States when you see something. That's why we have these devices such as what's been aspected since 2007. Some say it's a blessing and a curse. Being aspected on the internet has ruined my life for what I understand. And you can't even have photography or photos of yourself. From past years, I'm being haunted, but aspecting what's going on and things that are being brought up by different people within the city. I need help. I've let every branch of government know what's going on by this point, from the White House to the CIA to FCC, police, Texas Rangers. If there was not any trace hop diversion and the messages just went completely rerouted to another proxy server, a Stingray, anything that's a collective hub that's collected. This is used by law enforcement per cell towers to reroute communications to different call centers. Bot calling has called my phone many times. It was a form of phishing, phishing, to get information that's stored so that my biometric markers are indicated, such as voice instances, my keystroke instances within allocations that have are templated and within these phone structures, so that I type into a nefarious type of aspect to give away my information. False emails, phishing emails, the normal aspect of what's in inundation of stalking and cyber stalking, which is the same statute in this state, in order to facilitate and further the fraudulent schemes of these persons, my past roommates, some family members, and their integrating liaisons and co-conspirators that enact themselves as party and are being told to inundate and resource choke everything in the city that I'm connected to when I'm running for my functional life. I'm eating from shelters. I'm standing in soup kitchen lines. My life has been made a spectacle. I've been literally inundated to the max capacity. I run back and forth on exhaustion. I don't have nutritional baselines. Wherever I'm grateful that I can be anywhere. But still, these people are now taking this aspect away from me again. Hi, Flippy, a.k.a. Hi, Vanessa, Ben Nathania, and hi. Thank you very much for being observant. Um, I'm absolutely going through hell. Absolutely. If anybody can help me get a job that's not slave ridden or indentured servitude, please help me. If anybody can help me get secure habitability, if there are any of you that have these people in management aspects that have apartments, I'm a tax viable citizen. I've been robbed of over $70,000. I have the intention to work no matter if I'm disabled, tired, anything, cancer. You can't tell anything that is wrong with me because I don't wear it. I don't wear it on my sleeve. I had no hair. I had no hair. I didn't think anything would grow back, and it did. I told the doctors this is not going to grow back, and he was like, your hair will grow back. I never thought I would see my face again. I couldn't even stand in the mirror to shave my face, and because I could not see my reflect. I couldn't see myself in the mirror. But then I started seeing better. It's an opportunistic virus. It depending on my immune system, it could go in and out. I have to guess my way across streets just to get on buses to keep running to my medical appointments. To keep going to what, and I want to say as a victim impact statement, what this people have done to me in regards to shifting and taking my pharmacy aspects so that you could get yourself or myself literally separated from medical care. And I don't understand when you need medical care in the United States, you get it no matter what. So the purpose is to literally control and have, with coercion, and have sway of my health. I became very sick. I could have retinal detachment, or could have had it. My glasses are a medical support device, not just a matter of, people who wear glasses know what I'm talking about. It's not a matter of blurry vision. IVIRS, you see they're crossing right now because my brain is tired. I have to do running about today and do things. And let me tell you something, people in administrative positions, you have a standard of duty to care. When you have taken on myself, you have taken on the aspects that are insisted upon this. Any constructive evictions violates Fair Housing Act insistences. You are federally mandated to insist upon the Rule 504 to aspect a reasonable accommodation and aspect of the insistence of that enjoyment. Any breach is a violation of federal aspects. You are literally insisted upon fines, citations. You are federally mandated. I'm not asking for special treatment, stickers, lollipops, and cash. This is given to everyone else. I have to work harder than people with normal immune systems, and I'm used to it. That's why I'm always regarded on every job that I've ever done. I'm not perfect, but I always make sure that whatever job I'm at looks good. And then I'm trashed. I get the hardest worker does not get paid. It's the person that's the best at manipulating the handshakes. I need help. people have looked at me, and you can give anybody can look on a internet or look in any job and look for jobs through web browser and cyber stalking. These persons go to these jobs and they fill them up. They fill them up with other people, and they make sure that you have to drive. I just don't want to have the liability of having anything go wrong with my vision and I have a driving job. The reasonable accommodation is public transit. This is you have to have an accommodation throughout the United States. Anything is discrimination. I am a hurricane survivor. I need help. I need a job. If anyone knows of anybody that will hire me, I continue. If I have to throw up, I take London. I go somewhere you never know. I keep working. That's not slave ridden. That's not forced labor. That's not taxing per the gang members, my brother and people that are taxing my information. But this is what I have to say at the moment. So aspects I need help with job placement and housing. Normally. Excuse me, that's a roommate that's coming. Again, I'm not in my own habitation. So that's what I have to go through. I'm sure that they're bribed by someone that's total noise when they come in. It's a form of harassment. And it's strange that they've stated that they're on probation, but you seem to aspect harassment. It means this is denoting that there's organizational genius and that there are horrible people in enforcement. Torrance White, I'm not sure if you know what's going on. Again, I'm not sure if you're there are common last names. You may not be within my family, but you work in the FBI Division of Human Trafficking. I'm not sure if you still have that position or if they put you somewhere else. It's enough of viewing. I'm sure a grand jury has enough of what they need. Some of you are not really going to help me. I really appreciate those detectives that helped me in 2020. Not sure if they know where I went or out. I need help with a job that's not enslaving me and that's not hiring other people. I know that you are not investigators. You can't determine. You're just getting the pool of what you need to aspect this tax viability and demographics. I'm all understanding the business structure of it. People that I'm aspected towards, I get that bribery, and when you are struggling in your life and someone offers and dangles things in front of your face, that's for control. It's bait to garner the sway of opinion. And then, but people you look at me with these sneering looks, and I see it because everyone's looking out for Michael. Michael's a grown ass man. He's a grown ass man. Doesn't have anything wrong with him, because they cannot get there where they have a sense of entitlement, and the persons that are enabling these behaviors of psychiatric and sociopathic and psychopathic behavior, your co-conspirators and the complicit. All of these people, Patrick West, Pierre, Corey's a birthday May, late April. You're a barber, just like my brother had a barber shop. They have a barber shop. I don't know. They cut hair. They do things in 2100 Travis. It has a Bonchon restaurant and everything inside of there. These people, it's a call center and all of these things. And then across the street, there's a thing walking distance. That's 2200 Travis, something like that. You go to Club Houston. this sex club for, deviant or alternative sexualities, and they go back and forth, and these have been retaliated against because, and it's not all of these people. Some people mind their business, but I've had to be. I need help. I've called the governor's office. I probably have to go towards the mayor's office. I literally don't know what this is. I'm so tired. If you see my videos, I'm tired. I have videos of sleep deprivation. I've been to emergency rooms. I don't like going to hospitals anymore. They were so professional during my 2023 entrance. Now I'm being retaliated against because I don't know what nurses or doctors are stating that they need help. They're draining my medical assistants, doing things so that I can be propelled to go to emergency rooms to use certain money. And that happens. It's fraud. Investigators, that's fraud. Investigators, I'm tired. Investigators and they have crime victims compensation. Attorney General Ken Paxton, I meet the qualifications. These persons are going to take them. They probably have taken it. I have my VC number still as an allocated assistance. I've got anything. These drops of money that people at these different, Elijah, Bernie, all these things, DJ Justin, all these people at Allied Universal, I was vetted to go there, and they've not given any formal aspect. I've been told I cannot ever work there. And I've seen their workers, and I'm not having anything against anybody, but visual and observational inconsistencies is what you see first. It's what your brain determines through its supercomputer aspects of multi-thousand. Why am I not qualified? There's nothing aspect in myself in the last 10 years, 5 years, or anything that's of a nature that would be concerning or disqualifying. People are out of jail being hired for stuff, and they need to work shit. But they get their insistences as they should. These people have aided, and they are literally trying to proliferate the enterprise of stalkers, suicides, towards myself, because they had a gun to my head October 6th, my brother's birthday, 2020, with red bandanas around their mouth, and they were at my life then. So this insistence and proliferation of continued further engagement in organized criminal activity and racketeering is proliferating. Shay and Junior, it's another Junior. Shay is birthday December. Close friends with Stephanie. There's a Mika. Mika is Stephanie's close friend. Her liaison is called Sam. There's another Sam that's on the southeast side of town with this house of boys. There's a Carrington. There's a Natalie from Sterling Point. A Natalia. These people. There's an Inez. There is these people that Blanca that know about what's going on with my information because it was given, and I have these switch and bait units, and I just wanted to freaking live. People at the hotel 5959 West Sam Houston Parkway. Kevin and birthday late December. Peaches, birthday January. If you have information off of my credit card at that time that people are stating this or that You're trying to do things about implementing, and you help that aspect about an insurance aspect so that I can, because I needed it when I got very sick. But changing my information and doing things now is fraud, forgery, and it's a debilitating aspect towards my health. All the pharmacists that last year, you literally, I was approved for certain things. I went and they did not give me anything in someone else's of it. Desharon, stop impersonating me. Or if you are doing something deviant, why? And Andre Relford, Kimberly Relford, that's your son, Shaquaria Relford, all these things. You should not be, whatever that you know you need to tell to someone. Any deviance and artifice is damaged. My life is damaged. My eyes can't even focus. I literally stutter because of what's going on to me. This is one of my last reaches of what I have. They're silencing me. I need help with an apartment. All you celebrities that are doing all of your shows and doing all of these things to help, you're promoting this some of this stuff. You're throwing this cash, and people are flashing cash about what, but they've been tortured to death. And every time when I see the practices, I know what you're doing. They celebrate homelessness, and once you're outside, though, hey, you have to get outside, then you get everything you need. But a house is not a house, a room is not a room. They're going to install invasive visual recording. Get keys through bribery with management with tenant leasing aspects, which is a federal matter, to enter into your habitation when you're not there, to continue to aspect coercive harassment as tools that proliferate stalking, that further aspect to engaging in human trafficking. I've been retaliated against with most professionals. No one's going to do that. They're literally putting me into foreseeable harm as conspiracy. If there is any justice, if this truly is the United States, I should be able to get help in the country that I'm born in. As a natural citizen. Swifter justice. They're not willing to do anything with these black extremist groups and people that cooperate with them because they're black extremists. If you happen just to be black, and there's a lot of them that have aspected towards my life. It's not a racist comment. It's a state of observation. When you're in Afghanistan, you state that the people that are in the Taliban, that are insurgents, you name whom they are. Just as an example, Taliban. I'm not talking anything about you, but I'm saying what these are: black extremists. Black is not your ethnicity necessarily. You fit in a political party group that the United States in particular divides into. Anywhere else in the country, they'll say black and white. So it's a political insistence used for census purposes, and you adhere to this inclusive enclave, and you proliferate your ideologies irregardless onto the public, creating civil unrest, chaos frenzy, propaganda insistences per television, visual pixelations that are aspected as psychological and subliminal suggestion. As a tool for counterintelligence maneuvers against civilians. Special agents, this is a known aspect. beyond the use of radios, and that's why a lot of air um, control has been reprimanded, going beyond reach of their normal AM FM communication styles, and the use of holosonics. And you're probably not the ones that are probably things that have helped me out. Genesis, other instances of acoustic arrays or parametric speaker instances. It's grateful I probably would have been dead or something if not for some of that outreach, because some of it is being used against myself. All the people in audio engineering school that have aspected that think they're producers and work in bands. This is Jennifer Williams, Gentry. People that aspect that are watching that know what I'm going through from St. John's Church here, and are that aspected from Kanisha Malone, Roy Malone, Jimmy, Crystal, Marcus, people that are aspectually insisted for all of these measures of Van Malone, Nidra Malone, that worked with that aspect with the Detroit Lions from Michigan, people that are here from every type that I understand, seeing what's going on. People at Lamar University, Beaumont, Texas. Justin Miller's from Beaumont, Texas. Alexander's from Beaumont, Texas. Justin Miller worked at Allied Universal. Rodney Yarbrough, Clayton, y'all all worked at Allied and been transferred to the other company. Now they're stating that I can't work at Allied. Someone has been working under my name at Allied because you have a felony offense and you can't do practice security with this type of insistence, maybe unless you have some sort of reprieve from T. Cole. That they're working using my guard card. A guard card is property of the state, and they have it illegally. Impersonating myself, impersonating a guard is another misdemeanor crime. These are then charges that are allocated. You don't have an insistent card, then you get a fine per the insistent company, but none of this is being regulated, DPS. And I'm functionally trying to live. I need help. If anybody, I need help securing an apartment for safe recluse so that I can be in a non-contaminated environment, free of pathogenic and opportunistic infection aspects as to be of myself, to maintain my insistence of immunity and nominal medical trajectory, so as to make sure that there is no biological discourse further exasperated than it has to be by exposure to opportunistic infectious diseases that would be aspected outside of an insistence within high density populations and aspected places. Anywhere that I've had to run for my functional life, I am grateful. I've been treated and given dog food. I've had to beg in gas stations for food. People that have helped me in those gas, I appreciate it. Everyone knows that I would have my credit cards pay for anything if I'm asking for this because I was starving. Or people that are aspected within war crimes, the thing that you would provide as a war measure is soy, things that have corn syrup, anything that have. I am literally, I hate waking up. I'm tired that I can't rest. My stomach is growling, I'm starving. My food portions are given small. And while people can go in, you go to it's all you can eat buffets, and I hope you eat enough for me. I'm not relegating anything. I'm not trying to control what anybody eats. I want just to people. It's so much food wasted. You're not in every country that's thrown out. Eat. I want you to eat. My eating is controlled. Unlike my status quo of being able to go in my kitchen, fix my food, and eat at my leisure or necessity. That's a form of coercion implemented by tactical environmental manipulations and bribery as a combination of schemes and engagement by co-conspirators integrating as party to the most serious offense category, even if you were not aware of the entirety of the scheme, by aiding and abetting an enterprise network with furthering fraudulent schemes with intent to deprive myself of allocated resources and maliciously enacting unconscionable and actionable conduct and a course of conduct that is so outrageous that it shocks the conscience of the court and a reasonable-minded person. Penal Code 42072 has been fulfilled for burden of proof, I think, and 4207 as harassment as well. Continuous injury to disabled person, aggravating and moving the insistence up one category, engaging in organized criminal activity, moving the category of charges, offense penalty up again. Priors that have enacted the insistence and demonstrates to Aristotle's court of common-minded people a pathology of the perception of more than likely insistence to proliferate this behavior again. Placing me in aspects of forced confinement or confinement that I can come and go, but inundating it through infiltration is life invasion of sabotage, enacting the stalking aspect of statute, prosecutor, and attorney amicus. Changing the aspectual policies and implementing aspectual manipulation in the environment, facilitating this aspect of terroristic threat, in engaging with engagement, harvesting information through having to go and aspect multiple jobs that would, before getting there because of bribery accepted or given, state jail felony, I have been deprived of the right to earn money to even get beyond a $17 amount of food allocations. And I understand other allocations that are aspecting that have not been fulfilled yet. But per these instances of closely monitoring through visual spies that have been installated into the environment. Some of the visual spies are, and I thank you, you report back to something else to viably aspect. I know there are many people that see what I'm going through. It's not that I know that you have a life they feel. I thank you for your observations of empathy towards a human. I've never felt too far sorry for myself. If I did, I would still be just to a wheelchair. You would never tell that anything's wrong with me because I look very normal, but my immune system fights. I'm tired all the time. I'm nauseous a lot of the times. But I'm resilient. I need help. I need a job you know, that situates my acumen, if very much possible, not the work of teenagers. Although teenagers, you should work. I did when I was a teenager. I need a job placement that's not hostile environment. That's not a Smurf operation aspect, so that you can implement yourself into a racketeering practice or process. And I need a true bill. I need an indictment. And of course, I need restitution for damages, exemplary, punitive, liquid, pecuniary loss. Counselor Paxton, the district attorney. That's all I have to say. I need help. I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't get help. I'm struggling because of this organized criminal activity, not of my own regard. I was proliferating steady trajectory. I don't want to start today because I hate living. It's so hard to live while my body fights so hard to physically be here all the time. I need help. I've done enough where I'm worn out. It's not funny what I'm going through. I don't think that the entire networks are literally trying to silence me. I spent the White House. I don't think anything gets there. I need a